What up, YouTube? Welcome to Brents, Porch. I ain't did this in a while now, so you got to welcome my special guest, Neek. What's up, Neek?
What's up with y'all? It's Big Neek from up the street.
So I want to address the elephant in the room. I want to know your thoughts on this.
Oh goodness!
It's been all over the place. Everybody heard it over the internet. So what do you think about the entanglement issue, Will and Jada?
Oh,
That's talk of the town. What do you think about that?
So I have two thoughts about it. The first thought is probably the thought that everybody has. I don't really give a shit. I have my own problems. I have my own relationship. You know, I don't know why we should care about rich people's relationship problems. I mean, just, you know, get a new wife, a new husband, whatever the case may be. But on the other side of that, just sitting back because we have nothing to do in this COVID. So it's entertaining.
True.
But just thinking about it, I don't know if you'll get a chance to, but Jada does the red table, right? Mm-hmm. She does the red table, and it was an episode that she did with the red table, and it was talking about addictions. And she had, oh my God, it's interesting because August Alsina was actually on this episode of the red table I'm talking about.
Oh, man, go back and look for that
You're going to have to go back and look for that one. So anyway, in this episode, he's talking about, well, she's talking about addictions, and her sister-in-law, who is Will's sister, was there, and she was talking about how she didn't understand or didn't realize that she had an addiction to marijuana or whatever, and how she realized that if she didn't have marijuana, her behavior would become erratic, blah, blah, blah. So they going on and on. Jada's mom goes into her past about addiction, where she battled, you know, growing up, battling addiction, getting clean, sober. And August is talking about how, well, he's talking about how he has battled an addiction with lean.
Oh, okay.
Right? So he's talking about, you know, being on lean when he first gets in the industry. And pretty much he's talking about how Jada is really interjecting, talking about how, basically how she swooped in and not saved him in that sense, but, you know, she was there. She was being very supportive.
Okay.
And listen, but hold on. So then she gets to her, and she's talking to Will's sister in this exchange of dialogue, and she's saying, yeah, because I battle with a sex addiction.
Oh.
Interesting. Oh. That's why you have to go back and watch this red table that I'm talking about.
Okay.
I wish I knew the episode number so people could check that out. But she's talking in this interview about her sex addiction and how she, you know, could not function. She could not function without sex. Like, it was mandatory. And she's talking multiple times in one day. She's talking multiple times in one day, and I'm just sitting there thinking in that moment. She's a married woman. I mean, I understand you're talking about addiction, but you know, you have a young man that's in the room that's not, and she's playing it off like they have a mother-son relationship or a mother-son dynamic.
And she's talking about her sex addiction.
But she's talking about her sex addiction. You know, talking about how she came in and pretty much helped him with his addiction and, you know, made him feel valuable. So when this whole situation came about and I didn't see the interview in its entirety. You didn't have to because everybody had a meme about it. I mean, it's still going. It's still like, well, Nick Cannon is a new thing right now, but it's still like wildfire. Mm-hmm. You know, after seeing this, it just took me back to that interview, actually. And I'm like, she kind of told what was going on back then if you were a person who pays attention and I pay attention. So I was not at all shocked, surprised, disappointed, anything. Because Will, you know, is the only person, aside from her children's embarrassment, that should, you know, really have to deal with this.
Right, right. But you know, everybody got this thing like, oh, there was an open relationship. And I remember what they're talking about. Because she had an interview when she said, and I guess she's talking about Will, and she was like, well, I told Will he can do whatever he want to do as long as he can look at himself in the mirror. Because he's his own man.
Yeah.
And that does not mean that you're in an open relationship. But everybody took that as meaning they were in an open relationship. And I just don't see that meaning they're in an open
relationship. Yeah, that language does not suggest you're in an open relationship.
But that's what people took it as. And that's how the open relationship thing came about. What I saw a man sitting across the table broken. When I looked in his face, he had the giggles. It's his defense mechanism.
I mean, yeah, you know that millions of people are watching.
He's sitting there with bloodshot eyes.
He's an actor too, so yeah.
You know, listening to his wife giggling about how she had sex with some other dude because she needed to feel good.
Yeah.
You can't say that to a man and expect like.
I mean, this is a new age, and Will is definitely a new breed of man, I would say, and I'm not condoning any kind of violence or
no violence,
nothing like that. But I mean, some tables would have got turned over. I just can't understand how
he got to protect.
It's emasculation
brand,
to me.
Yo. It was definitely emasculating.
It was emasculating. I mean, just you could have talked about. Listen, I don't know how things get out of control. I mean, if you got a side piece out there, check your side piece. Make sure that your side piece understands what the dynamics of the parameter around your situation is. You have to do that. Because you can't just go out here with people who don't follow the same code that you follow.
I think her saying entanglement kind of irritated the shit out of him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you fucked another dude.
You know?
Let's just keep it 100. You can't, nobody, I don't care how rich and famous you are, can get away with talking about there's an entanglement. Like, yeah, that word it was a trigger for him. Entanglement. No, you straight up cheated. You straight up committed adultery. Don't try to make this shit clean in any way, shape, or form. Yeah,
I think the whole thing was a PR move because it was out there, and
yeah, that was too out there. I mean,
it was out there,
they black at the end of the day. I mean, we just don't.
You had to fucking say something about it.
I can't foresee it being anything else but something to do with publicity. Who does that?
Will had to protect his brand. He can't. He wasn't a person. He just go all wild and be in public like this. Oh, Will found out about it. Now police come to lock him up. You know what I'm saying? He had to protect Will.
Yeah, I understand that. But in that moment, I would have just been what is his name? Willard. I would have been Willard that motherfucker.
Hey, look, I think there's been a Willard moment off camera.
That camera, when she did that on camera, Willard would have showed up on that camera.
When she did giggling and shit.
Yeah, sniggling and giggling. Yeah, Willard would have showed up. I couldn't have been Will Smith in that moment. I'd have been Willard Smith from Philadelphia, from North Philly, and we'd have had to have a conversation.
Like
not this one.
I couldn't wrap my mind around. She's like, I just wanted to feel good.
Masturbate, yo.
How you gonna sit up and tell your husband that?
Masturbate, yo. That's so emasculating. Yeah. That's so emasculating to say that.
Hey, look, the whole thing.
Oh God,
the whole situation is emasculating. Like men's ego is a lot more fragile than women's. And look, this is a fact. I know men hate to say it, but it is. And when you break them, because eventually they break.
Yeah.
And let's say you broke them, and they say you put it back together. All the cracks are still there. It's like taking a piggy bank, busting it. You want to put it back together, and it's not as strong.
It's
not as strong as it was before.
The littlest thing that happens is going to crumble it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so at this point, anything that happened, his motherfucking ego is going to crumble. Anything.
Yeah.
No matter how many times you blew it back together.
Agreed.
No matter what happens, it's going to crack and crumble down.
Agreed.
See, Will got different resources than a regular guy. So a regular guy can't just get up and say, if you've been married or dating somebody 25 years, you can't just say, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
No.
You can't. No. Because you got 25 years tied up in this. See, Will could just be like,
children.
Y'all grown. I'm out.
Yeah.
I will buy me another house.
Yeah. He can do that.
Yeah, he can start over. And give it about 6-7 months. That's what happened. Mark my word.
Yeah.
Mark my word. It's going to be done. Yeah. Well, it's going to be over.
And he's going to have a girl 20 years younger. It is not going to be hard for him to do.
And nobody, and they're going to say, well, but Okay. Another thing that I couldn't understand is women defending it, yo. They defending her. Like, you let it have been him messing with one of Willow's friends. How bad would this have been? Yeah.
Oh, they'd have drug his ass.
They'd have canceled his ass.
Yeah.
The women would have canceled his ass.
They didn't want the Fresh Prince reruns off there.
He'd have been canceled.
He'd have been done.
But they defending her, yo. I don't understand.
I don't know what there's to defend.
I don't
You're talking
understand.
about the sanctity of marriage, point blank. We're not talking about women's empowerment, all these things. Listen, if you're not happy, if you're not satisfied, the person you need to be having a conversation with is your mate. And it was something that she said, I guess she said they were on a break.
I'm not buying
But
that.
what does that
Have
mean,
you
though?
ever-
I've been on you've been on a break. What does that mean?
Have you ever heard them say, oh, they on a break? From the 25 years, you've never heard anything about them.
And they're popular, so people would have known
Yeah.
that they were on a break.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. There was all the PR
We were
moves.
on a break, and I needed to be loved.
The break was to make
Love
her look
yourself, first of all.
better.
And if you feel the urge that this relationship is not fulfilling you, well, here's the thing. Everybody has a choice in this. This is why we can't defend this behavior. We can't change the narrative because we want to. I just feel like, you have to just be clear on what this is about. We can't just validate her behavior because, it's the new thing. I mean, we talking about the sanctity of marriage, period. It was violated. It was betrayed. Period.
I think he cared about her more than she cared about him.
I believe that he's tired. I think you might be right. We live in a world like entitlement. Jada, entanglement, entitlement.
What the
Bullshit.
fuck is that? What the fuck is an entanglement?
I don't know.
Is that the new thing? So you entanglement and chill?
I thought that was a movie, a Disney movie. Oh, that was Tangled. Oh.
That was Tangled. That was the movie
God.
about Rapunzel.
What am I thinking? How did I do that? Anyway.
Like the fucking phone wrong. I don't got who was that.
We know we was talking about Jada, and I'm just saying the sanctity of marriage was violated, period. And that's what we're dealing with. It's nothing, all this other hocus pocus bullshit, period. She violated the sanctity of her marriage. At any point in that relationship, because they're both financially apt, there's no abuse going on, so nobody's held hostage. They could have had a conversation. She could have had a conversation, say, Will, I'm at a point in my life as a woman that I feel like I need more. This is not enough, and I want to move on. It is just that simple.
Go on your way.
Go on your way. Have the conversation with your husband, but don't disrespect the sanctity of marriage because you don't feel good.
That dude looking bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing all around the board. I mean, everybody, that's a bad situation. I don't envy any of them. Not even August, because I mean, people want to, say, oh, good for him. But at the end of the day, he did that because he was hurt. He was broken. Because he seemed to have wanted more from that situation than she was willing to offer. He was just another boy toy according to her sex addiction. Yeah. Go back to that episode. Check that out. That's what it was about. Like, because he was feeling her. Because what other reason would he have to break that code? What the fuck are you telling for? That's access easy as Jada Pinkett.
It's like you
sidebar. She bad.
You done pulled off some shit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, hold up. If Will Smith ain't gonna get you happy, ain't nobody gonna get you happy.
Yeah, she's just not happy because she has
nobody gonna get you happy. Like, who the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Hey, look, what other black man's above him other than Obama and Martin Luther King?
Oh, Michelle ain't having no entanglements. It's not going down. Michelle is because you respect the sanctity of marriage. You have to hold Jada accountable.
Oh, they're not gonna hold her accountable because the women out here defending them. Sorry. Black women out here defending her. Yeah. They defending what she did.
But their husbands are not Will Smith. Well, their boyfriends are not Will Smith. So
well,
I don't even know why they defending
she wanted
that.
To feel good, yo.
I mean, they trying to, I don't know. That's not,
No. I haven't felt good in a long time.
What?
What?
Why you ain't just tell them you ain't feel good and move on?
No.
You ain't feel good. I mean, what does that entail, feeling good? Did you explain to him what your needs were? Sometimes in relationships, we do need to revisit things. We can't just assume that everything is going to stay the same. Sometimes you need to revisit things. Are you comfortable with this? You want to try something new? You want to do how you feeling about this? I mean, we have to have these real conversations in relationships. We can't just become complacent with silence. Complicit in silence. I'm just not going to say anything. It's just going smooth. Don't rock the boat. No, sometimes you have to rock that boat to keep your marriage interesting. So not just to be married a long time, but be happily married a long time. So you still have to do that. I mean, like I said, I'm not giving her a pass, but at the end of the day, knowing relationships, we do get complacent, and we feel like we know everything about our partners, and we don't realize that we're all humans, and that we all grow, and we all change, and at different points in our life, we require different things to satisfy us.
Some people change and grow.
Yeah. But you still have those conversations with each other so that you always on the same page, and you ain't got to be guessing or figuring no shit out and getting into no entanglements. You know? Avoid entanglements. Have a conversation.
I went to therapy to learn how to talk.
Did I.
I never talked about anything.
That's why I learned how to talk.
No matter how much shit it aggravated.
Shout out to therapy.
I just like
get some if you need it.
Tuck it away.
Yeah.
Tuck it away. Everything that happened, tuck it away. Tuck it
away.
But
then it comes out in the most volatile ways when you do that. You don't understand. You think you'll get mad. I would get mad over shit that made no sense. Absolutely. It didn't even make sense to me, you know, when I look back on it. But it ruined relationships. It ruined relationships in the process. So I decided to do what I needed for me to get healthy for my own sake. Because I wanted to stand myself. So yeah, I learned to express myself, be more expressive. And that means communicate. Sometimes I overly communicate and that can aggravate people. But I mean, it's either overly or none. So I'll just go with the overly.
I never overly. Most of the time I don't want to talk
about you're a guy.
Most of the time I don't want to talk about nothing.
But you're a guy.
I got a
You're
process.
like a man's man.
I don't know about a man's man.
You are.
But I gotta process it. When I process it, I gotta figure out all the scenarios before I can even talk about it. Because how is this gonna go? I gotta know every angle and then decide, do I feel like dealing with it?
Yeah.
Like,
but then that's your nature. I think that's your fundamental nature as a man. And men and women are just fundamentally different in how we process information too. Some things men can disregard a lot better than women. We attach a lot of shit. We analyze every fucking thing. You could just say the fly is right there, and the woman be like, "What do you mean by that fly? Right there. What is right there?" Like, we overanalyze things because it's our nature. It's our nature to do that, and guys are just a little more, they compartmentalize a little better. Decide what is necessary to talk about in that moment and what is not. We just go straight to the, you know, and overanalyzing everything.
I don't know. I think she broke it. Yeah, people keep saying
she did,
but he's an actor. Nope.
She broke.
Nope. When you
look at
that dude's ass, yo, she broke.
Every man in America says she broke him, so I'm gonna have to go with that.
She broke him, yo. And he had to not show it because he was in the PR, in that little PR thing. Nah, that dude was broken.
She broke him.
Yeah, that dude was broken.
Too many men said he was broken. He was broken. They know what broken looks like. I don't for them.
You look at his face.
But yeah. Everybody said, did you look at his eyes? Did you look at his face? I was like, damn.
Yeah, he's broken. Oh, God. And his only defense mechanism was to try to make light of it. That's it.
Is he to make light of it, light this place up, something?
And go two ways.
Yeah, it could go two ways. He went the right route, though. I respect him for that. I still feel for him.
6-7 months. Yeah. Top. 6-7 months.
Yeah.
Because that motherfucking wound ain't gonna heal.
Never.
He gonna pack
and
it
the whole
shit.
world knows she.
And it's right there. Everybody knows.
She did it.
Everybody knows. So regardless, they can't keep it a secret. They can't keep it a secret from the family. They can't keep it a secret from friends.
That's it everywhere. Oh my God! I'm so glad I'm not famous.
They can't keep that. They can't keep it confined within their,
That's some embarrassing shit. I couldn't live like that, man. That's crazy.
Look, he just gonna pack that wound with a bunch of unnecessary shit. Probably start buying a bunch of extravagant shit. Party all the time.
Cash out me, brother.
Pack it.
See, you wanna waste your money.
He will keep packing it until she leave him.
Yeah.
He's gonna keep doing shit until she leaves.
He might do that, or he might just take the high road and say, you know what, Jada, I'm done trying to please you. This is the end of this road. I'm getting off this roller coaster right now.
But see, he can't do it right now. You gotta wait.
Yeah, man.
He gotta wait because he just set up on TV and said,
you know what,
I told you I could love you through anything.
You know what?
How, yo?
You know what, though? I wonder what Cherie's thinking right now. Will's ex-wife?
I was thinking that same thing. She might laugh because didn't he leave her with Jada?
I don't know if he left her before, but I think he got with her right after. I don't think they were completely divorced at the time, but they were legally separated.
Can I ask
it was something
you a
to that.
Guys, I'm sorry, you can edit this out if you don't like it. You guys say, you know, and the whole world knows that he's humiliated and he can't hide from it. So would it have been better, because this happened long ago, and apparently they had worked through that period in their relationship. So this was in the past.
4 years. It was there 4 years.
Right, so it was in the past. So he had gotten over it. But it's now surfaced to the public.
Now it's back.
Right. So what I'm saying
is...
That's
ugly. That makes it worse.
But he lived through it as a secret.
But now you got to live through it in the public?
Well, no. So if it stayed a secret, would that have made any difference in our eyes?
Yeah. I would have rather stayed a freaking secret. I didn't need to know that. I did not need to know about their marriage. You could have kept that under wraps. If it happened 4 years ago, that shit should have stayed 4 years ago. Like, let's not have these discussions about your marriage during a pandemic. People are already freaked out enough. We don't need black love breaking up. What is going on here?
Lord.
I mean...
And I'm still not buying it. I think the whole red table talk was for the brain. That's the whole reason why the red up there to Will to save his brain. Okay, if Jada wasn't married to Will, when the last time she did something that people didn't even care about before red table talk?
But she hasn't had to. She married up.
Yeah, but he the reason why she's still relevant. She would have faded into obscurity by now.
I think she would have for sure.
I
mean, she was in films. I mean, she was beautiful as hell, though. But I mean, but she definitely, she did. She did.
It ain't like no rose was falling in her lap.
Yeah. Not really. What did she do? Set It Off was a good role. She was married to him when Set It Off came out, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but. She was on. Okay, she was on.
She was getting hella roles after they got married.
She was on Gotham.
After they got married,
she was on
Gotham. Hella roles. She did a whole rocket shit after they got married.
I mean, that doesn't.
No, I'm just asking a question. You listen to music?
I knew she did.
She did music?
Like rock and roll or some shit.
Yeah. I thought Tisha Campbell did music. I didn't know Jada did.
Tisha Campbell did music too.
Yeah. They swing in the same circles.
Yo, listen, these people are crazy. Listen, Hollywood never cease to amaze me.
Yes.
I'm not shocked or surprised, but, you know, when we get into having these dialogues about it, you know, and we try to treat them as normal people, we just have to deal with the fact that it's bottom line, she violated the sanctity of their marriage. And there's no more ifs, ands, or buts about that.
All right. So we can close that topic.
Yeah. We can. I wish both of them the best of luck. You know, I hope everything works out the way it's supposed to.
I'm sorry, Mika.
Oh.
No, it's fine.
Oh, well, I got another topic for you.
I done learned a lot. I got a grip. That way over hard, I got a skip.